Hello, my soul friends, and welcome to your tarot reading. We are going to figure out what lesson from your past is important for you to learn today, so that way you can grow and have the best life possible. All you need to do to receive this message is pick one of these three piles. To help you make that decision, all you need to do is meditate on each of these ones, or whichever image on the card really sticks out to you. That is going to be your message today. We're going to look at each of these up close. The first one is a train. The second one is a piano. And number 3 is a bicycle. So if you need to, you can pause and meditate a little bit longer on each pile, but otherwise, once you have your pile in mind, you can go into the comments or description of this video to go to that reading directly, or scroll on the time bar to go to your chapter. So let's go ahead and get started and see what lesson from your past is important to you today. Hello, pile 1, my train pile, and welcome to your tarot reading. We are going to go ahead and get started by pulling one card from the Soul's Journey lesson or oracle cards to figure out what is the core thing you need to keep in mind today. So, universe, what do you want pile 1 to know? What is the core lesson of today's message? What is most important? So your core lesson today is acceptance. I am learning to accept the things that I cannot change. So your core lesson is understanding when, where, and how you can't change things about your life. This could be because there are a lot of moving parts and it's not realistic for you to change things, or because something happened to you for a reason, and accepting that and then moving on and living your life not trying to change that part of your past will be for your highest good. So acceptance is your core lesson for today. So now what I want to do is pull 3 cards from the Hanson Roberts Tarot deck to figure out what sort of significant event or events happened in your past that contribute to this acceptance being your core lesson from the past. So, universe, what do you want pile 1 to know? What is the significant event? What is important? Your first card is the Queen of Cups reversed. This could be a sign that there is some sort of really emotional person, or perhaps a woman who is not related to emotions, who really hurt you in some way, or who really affected you in some way, maybe intentionally, maybe not intentionally, but you need to perhaps accept, forgive, and move on. Maybe not forget, maybe you'll still change the way you interact with this person, but you do need to recognize and accept that this person has hurt you and you need to move on from that. The next card is the Chariot reverse. This is about being stalled. This is about your movement really hurting you. And on this card actually is the Yin Yang. And the Queen of Cups is a very emotional, very yang card. I believe Yin actually. Yin is feminine energy. And the Yang card here, this is an indication that whatever this person did to hurt you, you really need to integrate that hurt in order to resolve it. And so you were prevented from moving forward, but what you need to do is actually deal with that, emotionally process that, and then move on from there. The third card is the Five of Cups. This is about having difficulty accepting what you must accept, but even though you were hurt, it's not like all is lost. So I do think when it comes to acceptance and this person, this emotional person, or this woman who hurt you, who really stopped your progress in life, you really need to identify that this person hurt you. You need to recognize that they halted your progress and that you can't just move on and do what you want to do. But even though you need to recognize that, you also need to use this period, or if this has happened in the far past and you're still thinking about it like it's something that's really hurting you emotionally, even though it happened long ago, you need to look at what remained, what she wasn't able to affect, what resources you still had, because those resources you still have are actually the key to your future. And if you don't recognize what remained, you aren't going to be able to make use of them. I don't think the universe, generally speaking, allows bad things to happen to you, but when bad things happen, the universe will try to highlight the good that remains. That way you can use it as a tool for your better future, the expansion of the universe, all those wonderful things. So let's figure out what the defining resonance of this difficult situation is and why you need to accept things. Universe, what is the defining resonance using the Oracle of the Fairies, this energetic echo that you want pile 1 to be aware of? What is this defining resonance? What is still affecting them? All right. This card is Ask for Help. Angels are celestial beings who protect everyone, and the fairies say now is the time for you to ask for angelic assistance. So I think that you may be expecting yourself to do too much on your own, that you are too alone. And part of this, I think, may be this person's hurting you. This person perhaps making you believe that you're all alone, or there's nobody who could help you, or even if this person didn't intentionally hurt you, perhaps it's someone you care about, like a family member or a friend, and you don't hate them, but you're very frustrated with how they hurt you. And because of that, you are afraid to ask for help. But even if you are afraid to ask for people's help close to you, you can ask help from the angels, your guardian angel, your spirit guides, but especially your angels. Your angels have the ability to intervene in a way that other spirit guides don't. They will intervene to protect you. And so even though there is some element of your life that you need to accept and move on, if you ask your angels to intervene to protect you, if you give them permission to intervene, even when you may disagree with it, they will start intervening. They will start putting obstacles in your way so you won't go do something dangerous or find yourself in a dangerous situation, or they will give you signs and synchronicities to help improve your life. Now, their focus is on protection rather than getting you what you want, but you can use this to help yourself feel fearless, right? You'll be able to take risk and do other things that you want because you know your angels have your back. So yes, you need to accept what happened, how this person hurt you, and then really emotionally dissect that so you can figure out what tools you have. But while you are figuring that out, remember the defining resonance, the energy that is still with you right now, is the fact you can ask your angels for help. You can ask for protection. You can ask for that extra reassurance. So even when you encounter conflicts, you don't have to be scared. So what I want to do now is figure out what sort of patterns of behavior you are dealing with, things that bad habits or routines you may have entered into that aren't helping you right now. And so we are going to use the Dark Mirror Oracle deck to figure out what sort of patterns of behavior you are dealing with. Universe, what sort of patterns of behavior is pile 1 dealing with that they really need to challenge? What is something they need to challenge in themselves? So this card is the Is This Me card. I think in the fallout from this person hurting you, you may have changed your behavior, you may have put on a mask, and you are acting in ways that are not only harmful, but they don't resonate with you. And when I say harmful, that doesn't mean that you are necessarily falling into addictive behaviors, but you use these activities, these routines and habits to arm yourself, to protect yourself. You think it's going to help you, and that's the reason why you need to ask the angels for help. Because if you ask the angels for help and you feel that spiritual reassurance, you aren't going to put on this false armor. You are going to choose to be deliberately yourself. You are going to be brave. You are going to be so admirable. But in order for you to do that, yes, you need to ask your angels for help. But I also want you to, right now, you can pause the video, or when you're done with this video, really brainstorm or journal on ways that you are acting outside of your true personality, your true beliefs, your true goals, and then try to identify something that isn't you, because that is the part of you that you need to erase or kick aside. That way you can be the true you. So let's get to the next card, which is the unresolved karma, or unresolved issues, unresolved energy, things that you need to tend to in order to improve your life. So, universe, what is some unresolved karma that pile 1 needs to deal with? And this is especially something that if you don't resolve it in this life, you will have to deal with it in your next life. Universe, what is some unresolved karma? Okay, your first card here is peaceful amongst thorns. So what I really want you to understand is that your life is not easy, right? Your life does have its challenges, and I don't want you to think that the difficulties you're encountering, even if they're not as big as perhaps you see in movies or television or the news, I don't want you to look at your difficulties and think that they aren't worthy of notice, or that they aren't worthy of your hurt feelings. But even though that isn't something you should ignore, what I do want you to recognize is that once you see that your pains, your thorns are there, you also need to understand that you can't lose yourself to that pain. You need to really understand and integrate those difficulties into your life story. And what I mean by that is, your life is difficult, your life has its challenges, but you are going to overcome those challenges. And instead of reacting and panicking and losing yourself to negative emotions, I want you to be a little bit more stoic or less reactive, or at the very least, I want you to believe that those really dark things that you're struggling with, perhaps this person, if they are still actively hurting you, you need to understand that they don't have ultimate power over you. There's a lot of things you can do in your life. There's a lot of choices you can make. You can often completely separate yourself from these negative things and start over, but even when you can't, there are usually methods or ways in your current life that you can go behind that obstacle or to make use of that obstacle. For example, someone who wanted to be an athlete, but maybe they get into a car accident and they can no longer be an athlete. One of the things they could do is become a para-Olympian, someone who goes into a sport, but perhaps they're in a wheelchair or on some sort of like false leg or something, or perhaps they decide not to be an athlete, but they end up talking about sports and creating news about sports. There are options, and even if it's not your ideal option, you can make a new ideal option. So understand that you are unflappable, you are powerful, you are capable, and even if there is an obstacle in front of you right now and you see it as insurmountable, just find another path. You're going to find something you're going to be quite happy with. So what I want to do now is pull one more card from the Soul's Journey Lesson Oracle deck. about some modern challenges, some modern lessons you need to learn either right now or in the near future that is really important for you to integrate this acceptance and improve your life. So, universe, what are some modern challenges that pile 1 needs to wrestle with? What are some modern challenges? What is a modern challenge? Okay, this card is empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. So this goes back to the person that hurt you. This is going to be easier for those who this person that hurt you is someone you already care about. But even if this isn't a person you care about, even if this is a person that you hate, you need to look at this person not as a non-playable character or this soulless villain, but as this person with a past, a present, and hopefully a good future. But this person has their own challenges, they have their reasons for doing the thing they did, and you need to use your empathy to be open to seeing both sides of the situation. Why did they hurt you? What could have led to them doing this wrong thing to you? And while it may not be something you ultimately agree with, you may have empathy for them, you may work to understand them, but still think, I would have never done what they did. That's okay, but I want you to activate empathy. I want you to think about their perspective, because if you practice this now, in the future, you are going to be able to apply it to different situations. And maybe someone hurts you and you're going to be able to empathize with them and you're going to be able to intervene. You're going to be able to say, hey, you're being kind of rude to me. I think you're being rude to me because you are under a lot of stress. Is there anything that you need that I could help you with? So that way you won't be so stressed. So that is what empathy can do for you if you practice it now with this person or with anyone that you are having some minor conflict with. You are going to be able to use that empathy in the future to improve your life in some way. You are going to be able to resolve conflicts a lot earlier, or at the very least, avoid the person before they get too much power over you. So what I want to do now is pull a card on the source of inspiration, something that you need to keep in mind to help empower you. And we are going to use the Oracle of the Fairies here. Universe, what do you want pile 1 to know is their source of inspiration? What would you like them to know? What is their source of inspiration? This card here is protect your dreams. You are the guardian of your precious dreams and they are safe in your care. Keep them close to your heart until you're ready to release them. So there is this concept in making goals or succeeding in life that sometimes you don't want to tell someone what your goal is until you have made a lot of progress. And part of this is psychological. If you tell someone you are writing a novel, you will already get some like dopamine telling you you've succeeded, because just by telling them, it feels like you've accomplished something, even though you haven't. And while that is true here, it is also helping to prevent someone to bring you down too early. A really common example that a lot of younger people deal with is they want to pursue a particular career and their parent tells them that's not a realistic job. And for example, it may not be a realistic job to be a professional actor. It's very hard to get into the acting field, and I certainly don't want a parent to take an impressionable young child and go into the Hollywood industry, because the parent, if they aren't already acting, they don't have connections and it would be easier for that child to be abused. But what the parent could do here, instead of just doing whatever the child wants, is to say, hey, you want to be an actor? That's fine, but you're going to have to do school plays. You are going to have to practice your acting at home. And I want you to succeed. I'm going to support you, but you need to be prepared to deal with the consequences of perhaps not succeeding. And that is something that you need to recognize. Not everybody has that sort of welcoming environment, and if that's not you, you need to protect your dreams. Let's say that child does not have that protective parent. What they would need to do is perhaps say, go ahead and, act in school plays and so on, but maybe not admit to their parents that their goal in life is to become an actor. Maybe they tell their parent, yeah, I'm going to go to college or I'm going to go into a trade, but on the side, they are studying how to be an actor, something like that. So, what I want you to do is know what your dreams are, but if you don't feel like you have a supportive environment, don't let somebody know that you are pursuing that dream until you have some sort of tangible progress. And obviously, there's going to be people that are going to beat you down no matter what, but I think what we are all most in danger of and what you are most in danger of is your dreams being dismissed and you being discouraged by this Queen of Cups person or perhaps someone else in your life that you do care about, that you do value. And so if you don't let them know your plans ahead of time, they can't discourage you, because why being pragmatic is a good thing. Sometimes the people in our life, when they tell us to be pragmatic, they just destroy our dreams. So don't let them destroy your dreams. Hold off until you have something to show to them that this dream is worthy of you pursuing. So what we are going to do now is pull a card for how to heal using the Self-Care Oracle deck. Something you can do, something tangible you can do right now or really soon that will help you heal from all of this negative energy, that will help you integrate the positivity that you need to pursue your dreams and be yourself. So, universe, what do you want pile 1 to know to heal? What is something they can do to heal? What needs to be known to heal? Your card here is the Connect with Crystals. So crystals have this energetic power. It's both real spiritual power, it's also psychological power. Some people carry crystals because they are good luck charms, not because the crystals themselves are powerful, but because the person emotionally connects with the crystal. And what I want you to do, other than asking yourself if there is something about your current behavior that isn't you, I also want you to research possible crystals, like the spiritual powers of crystals, or even look up different kinds of crystals and then pick the one that looks the most interesting to you. And I want you to find a crystal that you resonate with. And if you don't have a lot of money right now, what you could do instead is go outside and pick something from nature, perhaps a rock or something else depending on your local environment. And this is going to be your lucky charm. This is going to be the thing that is infused with really powerful energy. And this is going to be your token reminder that you are a powerful person, that you are capable, and that you are just honestly kind of awesome. So find a crystal or crystals that you can use and keep it around you. Keep it in your pocket, in your purse. I don't think you can keep it in your wallet, but who knows these days? You could, perhaps there are crystals that you can connect to your phone with a charm or your keys. You could, if you don't want to carry it with you, you could put it in your home somewhere. Or if there is a really big crystal or a really big rock that you're interested in, perhaps there's a huge boulder near your home, you can make that your lucky crystal and then you go to it now and again just to tap into that energy power. So find your crystal, carry it or visit it often, and it will help spiritually protect you. I imagine your angels are going to bless it, and it's just going to be a very positive energy exchange. Now I'm going to pull another card from the Oracle of the Fairies deck to figure out what sort of secret power you have in this whole situation, this whole core lesson of acceptance and moving on and being yourself and being empowered. Universe, what is pile one's secret power? What is pile one's secret power? What would you like pile one to know? This card here is look in a book. Whatever your question right now, you'll find the answer in a book. The words you find will bring the insight you seek. Now, this could definitely reference research. If there is something that you need to look up, that you need to learn about, that is definitely what is indicated here. But there's also something called, I believe, bibliomancy, and this is based off of the idea where you ruffle the pages of a book and land on some random place. In the West, people use this with the Bible. That's why it's called bibliomancy. And wherever their hand landed on, they would perhaps name their child after that. That's where you got Western names like Charity and Modesty. But it could also be used where you use the verse, and just by chance, it is the exact verse that the universe, or in this case for Christians, God is trying to send to you to be a lesson. So one thing you could do is find a book that you really resonate with, open to a random page, and whatever line you land on, that is the message you need to learn. If you don't have a book like this, you could go to a library, you could buy a book. There are actually, I believe, bibliomancy books. In the East, in China, there's something called, I think, I Ching or I Ching, I don't know how to pronounce it, which is similar. They use sticks, but I think you can also use the book as a bibliomancy book. So use bibliomancy. Another option, a fun option for you, might be to find a playlist or use your music library and put it on shuffle, and then whatever song comes up is your message. That's another option. That's called shufflemancy. So you have some options here. Use whichever one is the most exciting to you, and that is going to be how you can receive a message from the universe and your angels that could be helpful for you right now. Now, this message may not be super clear. It may be something you need to meditate on. So if it's not obvious to you right away, write down the message or listen to the song a few times until you really feel what you need to be hearing. So, pile one, the last thing we are going to do is pull 3 cards from the Robert Hansen Tarot deck to figure out your current outcome. And when I say your current outcome, I am saying what would happen when it comes to this whole situation if you made no changes, if you completely ignored everything about this tarot reading. That way we could figure out which way you are already leaning. So, universe, what is the current outcome for pile one when it comes to their lesson from the past on acceptance? The first card is the 8 of Pentacles. This is about working very hard and sincerely. So it definitely seems like you're already putting in the effort to integrate this lesson. You're already getting some signs and synchronicities that you have been understanding, and you're using that to improve your life. The next card is the 2 of Rods, reverse. This is a sign that you may not be preparing adequately, you may not be planning ahead adequately, or you may be focusing too insularly, too much, narrowing your focus too much. And then the last card is the 2 of Cups. This could be a sign of reconciliation with the person that hurt you, or understanding that even though someone hurt you in the past, you can have positive relationships. So I'm really liking your current outcome. I think a lot of the things that we talked about today, you have already been working on, you've already been integrating. That's very good. You can just use this reading as a reminder for things that you maybe need to focus on. And when it comes to focusing, I want you to understand that you can't just look at your next step ahead, because this is what's happening here. you need to think about your far future, your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, and asking yourself if the person you are working to be 10 years from now is going to be aligned with your inner essence. And I think that's what you are hoping for, but I want you to double check and make sure that your current actions are going to create a future that you are going to be proud of, that you are going to be happy with. But otherwise, pile one, I really love your pile. You have some challenges, but there are definitely challenges that you are resolving or in the process of resolving, and I am so excited for you. If you resonated with this reading, be sure to like and subscribe for more. You can also let me know in the comments what sort of project are you working on right now. I would love to send you encouragement. Otherwise, you can go into the comments to see a link to my socials, to my Ko-Fi to tip, or if you would really like to, you can book a private tarot reading with me on Etsy. Otherwise, pile one, I wish you the best and many blessings. Hello, pile two, my piano pile. Welcome to your tarot reading. We are going to go ahead and get started by pulling one card from the Soul's Journey Lesson Oracle deck to figure out what is the core thing you need to be aware of today that we are going to go back to again and again when it comes to your past lessons. Universe, what do you want pile two to know about their core lesson? What is the foundation of the reading today? So your card today, your core lesson is self-esteem with the wisdom message of, I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. So it seems like you have immense spiritual potential that you need to use, and there's been evidence of you using it in the past, or you were close to using it in the past. And it's really, really important that you look back on those instances so that way you can see proof of how honestly awesome you are, powerful you are, and spiritually significant to the divine plan of the universe. So let's get some details on this by looking into the significant event from the past or events that can really give some insight into this core lesson and why self-esteem and your gifts of the soul are so important. Universe, what is a significant event or events that pile two needs to know about? And I'm using the Mary Hanson Roberts Tarot deck here. Your first card is the Five of Cups reversed. This is about accepting something that was difficult. It's usually indicating some sort of event of loss. It could be a relationship loss. It could be a loss of expectations. Let's get the next card. The next card is the King of Cups. So this is a very strong sign that there was some positive male or emotional figure involved in uplifting your self-esteem and recognizing your soul gift, your gift of the soul. And even though you were suffering from some sort of loss in some way, this card is also about accepting that loss and moving on. This is an indication in the past that you did accept it and you did move on, and it was a very healthy learning experience. And it seemed like you were perhaps helped by someone. It could be a man or a male figure, that's possible here with it being a king card, but it could also be someone who is really extroverted or who's emotional, but perhaps, or diplomatic or charming, but perhaps not in a stereotypically feminine way. They're going to come across as very strong, very forward, but their charming social behavior isn't going to be like the social butterfly we often attribute to social prowess. So let's get the third card. The third card is the Two of Cups reversed. This is about some sort of break in a relationship. This is about perhaps for some of you, a business partnership gone wrong or a friendship going wrong, but Overall, I would definitely say that in the past there was some sort of events, some sort of relationship or emotional event that didn't go your way. It resulted in some sort of a relationship breaking down, romantic or platonic, probably not family. Two of Cups generally has nothing to do with family unless it is a significant other or a spouse. But there was someone who emerged from this situation, some positive figure who really recognized your potential, your soul gift, and uplifted you. Now, I think for almost everyone in this pile, this is a real person. This is a person you either know closely, it could be a new romantic partner or a new friend. It could be in a very, very, very small minority. I don't want people to assume this is true for everyone who picked this pile. This could be a spirit guide or some sort of other spiritual entity, but I really think everybody needs to first look at the people in your past who uplifted you before you move on to some sort of spiritual energy. So, what I want to do now is look at the defining resonance using the Oracle of the Fairies deck. And this defining resonance is an echo that has really carried across your life from your past and is really informing you. So far, I'm really liking your reading. It's actually quite positive. I know you're probably looking at this Two of Cups reverse card and the Five of Cups reverse card and thinking, oh no, this is bad news. Actually, no, this is a really strong sign, especially with this King of Cups, that you left this situation in a better position than you could have ever imagined. It was better for your life. So let's shuffle a card from the Oracle of the Fairies to figure out the defining resonance. Universe, what is the defining resonance and echoes of this core lesson in significant event or events? What is that defining resonance? Okay, your card here is magical blessings. Whatever you're going through, you're being assisted by magical fairy blessings. The fairies say you can bless others too. Now, what's interesting about fairy energy is that they're not angels. They're not always really positive beings. They tend to be, they represent beings in the environment or the natural world. They can be mischievous. They're not always on our side. But it seems like perhaps one of your soul gifts is the gift of place, of being really connected to place or earthly energy, and because of that, you are looked upon very favorably by fairies. Now, I do think this King of Cups is going to be a normal person, but there is the potential that because of this fairy card, that it could be a very, very strong fairy. I don't want you to think like book talk and fantasy romances that it is some sort of like fae king, but there is some sort of powerful fae energy that is working in your life, that is trying to help you, that is trying to help you recognize your gifts of the soul. And they are really helping you manifest good luck, fortune, abundance, a whole bunch of wonderful things. So this past lesson has really benefited you quite well, and it seems like you have some powerful spiritual allies, and for most of you, someone in your life who uplifts you too. Now, this person, this real person, if that is the case for you, they could have been sent by the fairies. They could have been pushed towards you. Maybe they don't know that the fairies directed them that way, but the fairies made sure that they were in your life. And when I say fairies, obviously most people are thinking of Northern European fairies, but this is really any spirits of the land, so keep that in mind. If there is a specific spirit of the land where you're from, that is what is being really manifesting here, probably. So let's go ahead and look at the patterns of behavior with the Dark Mirror Oracle. And these patterns of behavior are generally negative or challenges that you really have to deal with in order to live your best life. Now, so far, your spread is super positive. And I like seeing that. So don't be alarmed if this next card is really, really negative. The deck I'm using is a super negative deck, and it'll just give us some good balance to see what sort of negative energies you are having to deal with. So, universe, what are the patterns of behavior pile 2 is having to deal with right now that they need to resolve, that they need to heal from? All right, this card is the Anger and Chains. So as I see this card, I am reminded of that breakup. I am reminded of that loss. And even though you have overall quite benefited from the situation, that doesn't mean your feelings weren't hurt. That doesn't mean you don't have lingering regrets. You probably really like this person, either romantically or they were someone really close to you who you trusted or you wanted to have a good relationship with. And so when it broke, you still had some attachment to them. This is normal. Don't be alarmed. Don't think you are doing anything wrong. But it is a sign that you need to learn to step away. So this person, whether you had a wonderful relationship and it just ended terribly, or this person was always negative and you found out in a way that was hurtful, what I need you to do is step away from them. And there's actually a really simple ritual you can do that can help. I've used this for relationships and non-relationships, and it is a cutting the cord ritual. Normally, most people will use like a cord or a piece of string, but you can also use paper. You can braid pieces of paper together and then break them apart. You can do that. Definitely look into that. I'll actually include a link in the description of the video. That way you can go look at that ritual I recommend, and it'll help you ritually get over it. It'll be your first step. But generally, when it comes to detaching from this energy because you don't want to be connected to them, you don't want to be lingering on those feelings, it does take time. Some people have to do multiple cord cutting rituals, but you really only need to do one. Use it to mark the transition, the choice for you to move away from that. But I think you're going to get over it. I think you are going to move on from it. I think you're going to grow. This is just the slight negative thing that you have to deal with right now in order to have your highest good. And I think you're going to have your highest good. It's just this thing may be getting in the way of your gifts of the soul a little bit. So working on getting through that will really help you. And I do think, because this is a pattern of behavior, that you may be tempted to really attach yourself to new relationships, even if they're not healthy, even if they're not permanent. And anytime those relationships end, even if it's just a temporary acquaintance and you wish it could keep going, you get really, really defeated. And I do think having a cord cutting ritual is going to help you move on from that. So let's go ahead and get the next card, which is Unresolved Karma. We're also going to use the Dark Mirror Oracle deck. What is something that is going on in your life that is unresolved, that you may not even be aware of, and you also need to address? So, universe, what does pile 2 need to address? Their unresolved karma. And this is different from your patterns of behavior. This unresolved karma could be something that, if you don't resolve it in this life, will repeat in your next life. So this is definitely something you want to work on. You may not want to work on it right away, but you definitely want to get to it at some point in the next few years so you don't forget about it or it doesn't become a new pattern of behavior. So the card here is Obsession, which really goes back to Anger and Chains. Obsession is pretty common, especially in the modern world. People obsess over celebrities, over politicians. Snark communities is a really good example of this. Bullying is. People who obsess over politics, it's often not so much they are really rallying behind someone they support, but they are really pushing back against someone they hate. And what I want you to know, especially with this Anger and Chains card, that you may really slide in and lead in into your negative energy, and that obsession really twists your heart. And if you were to reincarnate, if you were to die and reincarnate tomorrow, which I don't think is going to happen, your spread is just too positive right now. But if you were to reincarnate with this obsession intact, you would probably find yourself like stuck in a situation to where you are attached to someone who is really, really bad for you. Perhaps a romantic partner, perhaps a family member, because you're going to live out that obsession because your soul feels like it's necessary. So, overcoming your anger and chains, addressing your desire to obsess, will really help you be a more whole person. And I do think some people in the spread may not obsess on people, they may obsess on things or activities. And when I am saying obsession, I'm not saying like something you enjoy, something that is healthy, but something that you really lose yourself to. A really good example of a non-person obsession would be social media doom scrolling. People will just perhaps go on TikTok and then spend like an hour or two on it. They're not even really enjoying it anymore, but they just keep going to the next video. That is a good example of obsession. So you want to look at your life, maybe brainstorm or journal on this to figure out what obsessions are really being an obstacle to your growth as a person. So let's go ahead and look at the sources of inspiration. We're going to go back to the Oracle of the Fairies, and these are almost like your secret power or something that can really uplift you in your life, something that really propels you forward and really pushes you to do your best. So, universe, what is pile 2's source of inspiration? It may even be coming from your fairies, actually, or this person if they're particularly powerful in your life. What is the source of inspiration? All right, your source of inspiration is solitude. This has the wisdom message of think of being alone as meaning you are all one and in total harmony with everything. The greatest treasures are those that wait silently during your quiet time. So when I see this card, I am really thinking about nature. So it's not so much you are alone, but that you are alone from outside pressures and you are really focusing on spiritual energies. Now, this isn't solitude time with this real person here. This person is definitely uplifting, but I'm not seeing them activated in your spread past that uplifting experience in your past. But this solitude is very strongly aligned with your fairies. So one thing you're going to want to do is, if you can, go out into the natural environment by yourself, or at least not with another party. If you live in a really populated area and it's like Central Park or some other city park where there are obviously people around, I'm not saying you have to be out of sight of everyone, but you don't want to go do your outdoor activities with other people. You want to not interact with other people in the environment. So definitely go into a natural environment, as natural as you can get, and spend time with that energy. Now, if you can't leave the home, or if you live in a particularly urban environment and it would be very difficult for you to find nature, another thing you can do is activate the power of awe. You can find a nature video that is really, really inspiring, perhaps waterfalls, really big animals. There's actually apparently some scientific data that when you see these amazing natural environments, even on camera, even on video, it triggers this spiritual awe that people experience in the real world. Now, this obviously isn't going to get you in touch with natural energies, so if you can, bring something in. Crystals are a great example here, but you could also bring in flowers. You can often get flowers in nearby or delivered to you, even if you can't leave your home. Just look for something natural that you can bring into your home to tap into those natural energies. And that's just going to really, really help you. It's going to really, really inspire you. And again, that's not just the cards saying this. There is a lot of scientific data indicating that nature inspires spiritual awe and really uplifts you. So definitely do that as much as you can. Now, what I want to do now is look at the how you can heal, and we are going to use the Sacred Self-Care Oracle to figure out what is one thing you can do, one tangible activity you can do that will really help you heal the negativity and the spread. I don't see a lot of negativity, so this particular step is going to be, I think, somewhat easy for you to do, but this is going to be another thing in your toolkit you can use to feel better, to really make the most of your lessons from the past, and really build your self-esteem. Universe, what do you want pile 2 to know about self-care and how to heal? What would you like them to know? And one thing I just thought of with this King of Cups social energy, a really good example would be emotional protection. So someone who is emotionally protective would also qualify here. But let's get to the self-care card. We have make a meal. And I think the reason why this is self-care, other than taking care of you, is that if you use natural ingredients, it will be really helpful for you. If you can, use seasonal ingredients, use local ingredients. This may be not more challenging for Americans, but less intuitive because some Americans in some really urban grocery stores will often have ingredients from all over the world. So if you don't have a farmer's market, or if you have a really international grocery store, what I want you to do is really do some research. What is local to you? What is really, really important in your local region? What's in season? And use that to make a meal. That will also help you connect with nature and the fairies and all of those wonderful things. And when I am saying making this meal, it would be great for it to become a habit, but this is really like a one-time thing, a wonderful self-care activity that will help you. Perhaps you can do it as part of your cord cutting ritual. You would do it either before or after that cord cutting ritual. So make it a special meal. Make it something that isn't what you would have every day, but don't make it too difficult. You want to enjoy the process and just really enjoy what communing with these natural ingredients will do for you. It'll be very, very healing. Now, let's see what another secret power for you would be. This isn't just a source of inspiration, it is perhaps part of your gifts of the soul, something that you activate yourself. And let's see what the Oracle of the Fairies have to say about that. Universe, what is a secret spiritual power that pile 2 has that they may or may not know already exists within them? What is their secret power? Okay, your secret power is ask for help. Angels are celestial beings who protect everyone, and the fairies say now is the time for you to ask for angelic assistance. Now, this was definitely activated in pile 1, and what I am seeing here is that there is an angel. This is different from a fairy or fairy energy. This is a very protective energy. For those of you who feel this King of Cups could be a spiritual energy, I don't think it's going to be fairies after all. I think it is your guardian angel. But your guardian angel will really help to protect you. They will probably help you from going too far with the fairies and their mischief, because while the fairies are on your side, sometimes they will push you to do things that you wish you didn't do. But ask your angel for help. Your angel definitely seems to be working on that. Here with the lion, the angelic lion, this makes me think of your guardian angel perhaps breaking this relationship for your good. But your angel wants you to have a good life. Your angel wants you to really, really pivot from your past life experiences with the best possible outcome. So ask them for help. You can ask out loud, you can ask in your head, you can strongly feel that request, but go ahead and ask that. One thing I'm reminded of is apparently the word pray in English, we think praying is like this special ritual thing, and it can be, but apparently one of the root words for prayer, especially in other European languages, is actually to ask, to petition. So really, if you just ask your angel for help, that's really how you get their intervention. And they're mostly going to help with things that would help you to avoid danger. So they're not going to help you with all the little abundance things you want. That's more fairy energy. But your angel will help you, will protect you from perhaps falling too much into your anger and your obsessions. You can ask them for help there, and they will do what they can for you. So what I want to do now, what I want to end on today, is 3 cards from the Mary Robert Hansen's tarot deck to figure out the current outcome. And when I say current outcome, I mean the outcome, your near future, when it comes to this core lesson of self-esteem and gifts of the soul. If you completely ignore this reading, what you are most likely to do if you made no changes in your life. That way we can see if there is anything you need to change, or if you have definitely internalized all of these lessons from your past and you are going in a great direction. So let's figure that out. Universe, what is the current outcome for pile 2 when it comes to their lessons from the past? So your first card is the 7 of Swords. This is about a really strategic victory on your part. You may have hurt somebody in the process. This could be, in the future, you breaking a relationship, an attachment to someone because you know they're really negative. So even though it may seem like you are hurting feelings, if you are hurting feelings for a higher good, then sometimes you just have to do that. You have to do what is best for you, as long as you're not breaking any moral laws, and best for the higher good. The next card is the 2 of Rods reversed. This is about a narrow plan or not planning ahead. This could be a sign that you aren't thinking too much about the future. You may be living in the present. And then the third card is the Lovers. This is a sign that you are going to have a positive relationship in the future. So I am really seeing this 2 of Rods reverse card as you not having an ideal of the future, of you not really trying to envision a future that can't exist. And so I'm not really seeing any indication in your spread today that you need to use law of attraction or visualization or any of those wonderful techniques. You can certainly use them, but you don't need to use them to make the most of your core lesson of self-esteem and gifts of the soul. Instead, just consider what you need to do to protect yourself, to honor yourself in your life, and to break that anger and chains and obsession. And know that already you seem to be on track to either enjoy a wonderful relationship you already have, or you're going to encounter another relationship. Now, this relationship, there's a strong sign here that it could be romantic. I'm definitely getting a lot of romantic energy in the spread, but it could be any positive relationship. So I'm just seeing a lot of good energy here, a lot of your fairies and your guardian angel doing right by you. And I like seeing that. I like seeing this wonderful spread today. So pile 2, if you resonated with this message, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more. I would also love to hear in the comments if you've had any fairy experiences, or if you suspect something nearby is enchanted with some sort of fairy energy. I would love to hear that story. Otherwise, be sure to check in the comments below for links to my socials, my Ko-Fi to tip, or a link to my Etsy shop if you would love to book a private tarot reading with me. Otherwise, pile 2, I loved reading for you today, and I wish you so many blessings. Hello, Pile 3, my bicycle pile. Welcome to your reading today. We are going to go ahead and get started by pulling a card from the Soul's Journey Lesson Oracle deck to figure out what is the core lesson that we need to keep in mind today. That way we can really frame the reading around something that's easy to understand. So, universe, what is the core lesson for today? What is that core lesson from the past? What is the most significant thing? Okay, your first card is worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. So it seems like the primary lesson that you need to know, the thing that really is going to drive your reading today, is that worry isn't fixing your problem. This is something a lot of people think is true. They think if they worry about something, just putting the attention towards it will automatically solve the issue. But worry isn't planning, worry isn't really reacting. Worry is just losing yourself to fear. And it's one thing to worry, to brainstorm, to consider what possible situations are coming your way, but if that worry isn't paired with action, then your worry is useless. And I think that is what we are seeing here in the past, is that you worried over things and you didn't pair it with action. And because of that, things didn't change despite all those negative feelings that were welling up within you. So that seems to be what needs to be resolved, is either you stop worrying about things that don't matter, or if you do worry, all your worrying needs to be paired with action. So let's get some more information about that. We are going to pull 3 cards from the Hanson Roberts Tarot deck to figure out what significant event or events in your past were really important to this worry situation. So, universe, what is a significant event or events in Pile 3's past? What is a significant event? So your first card is the King of Cups reversed. This is an indication that there was someone in your environment who wasn't very good for you, who caused you to worry, who may have been abusive or at least was filled with like negativity that warped your thinking. Now, this could be a man. That's what's often indicated by a king's card, but it can be anyone who pretends to be protective or tries to be emotionally protective and stable, but they're actually not. They may be someone who believes themselves to be quite skilled and quite diplomatic, but the reality is that this person lacks those abilities, and because of that, you may have relied upon them and just been failed each and every time that you try to trust their abilities because their abilities weren't sufficient. The next card is the Nine of Swords reversed. This is about a release of anxiety or sleep disorders, in my case, but it does indicate that it was actually 100% possible for you to completely avoid any of the situations that you were worried about, but this King of Cups person just put it into hyperdrive, right? They made a mountain out of a molehill and it just got so much worse. Now the third card is the Fool reverse. Now we could say this is you, but because this person is obviously foolish, I think this is a situation where this person is making all of the wrong decisions. Now, it's interesting because you are so worried in the past, you are so concerned, and you probably think that you have more control, or it's even your fault that this King of Cups is acting this way. But the reality is that it is this person who is the central locus of everything that's going wrong. So it's possible you may have no control over what they're doing, and simply worrying about that and empathizing with them and trying to connect with them isn't actually resolving all the problems. For whatever reason, this King of Cups is just completely foolish, completely delirious, and the more control you give this person over your life, the worse you're going to feel. So already I can tell that the solution to this King of Cups person is to either distance yourself from them or take control, because the more control this King of Cups has, the more problematic it's going to be. Now, generally speaking, the King of Cups could be a romantic partner. It could be a family member, especially a parent. It could be maybe a teacher or someone who you are connected to where they are an authority figure and they're supposed to be this really emotionally resonating one, but this person just is not working. I remember when I was in high school, we had a social studies teacher who, he was a great teacher, right? But he put the fear in us, and sometimes students would skip school just to avoid dealing with that teacher that day, or they would take the long way around campus just to avoid them. This is the kind of energy I am seeing. No matter how skilled or useful this person is in other areas of life, even if this is a person you value, right now this person has too much control and you are relying on them too much, and that is definitely hurting you. That is causing your worries and anxieties. And this Nine of Swords card makes it clear that if you didn't give this person that power, all of your worries would go away. So let's figure out the defining resonance of this, the echoes of this event and this person in your life. What is something you're probably still dealing with right now? And we're going to find that out with the Oracle of the Fairies deck. So, universe, what is pile 3 dealing with, their defining resonance? What is pile 3 dealing with? What needs to be known? So your first card is the Fairy Spotting, and this has the wisdom message of it's time to go fairy spotting. It's said that seeing is believing, but in fact the opposite is true. Believing is seeing. I think this whole situation has really discouraged you, and for understandable reasons. But because of that, you are probably feeling less hopeful. You are probably feeling as if you can't manifest as well in your life, or that even your good connections, because I think for a lot of you, this King of Cups person is someone that you like, or someone that you are connected to in a positive way. But because this person just has this negative manifestation in your life, you are automatically projecting on the world and even on your spirituality that nothing good can come of your current situation, and you are losing hope. But the truth is that with this Fairy Spotting card, that if you believe it can get better, it will. And this is partly like an attention thing. If you aren't looking for something specific, then you are going to completely miss it. And one thing you can do is decide in your life, starting today, that there is going to be some sort of positive spirit who's going to send you signs and synchronicities that will guide you to make good and healthy decisions for yourself. And to help you do this, you might want to write it down, you might want to say it out loud. Some people find it really helpful to use affirmations or do subliminals or guided meditations. Whatever you think is appropriate, that is what you should do. And you just need to say it until you believe it, and then it helps reprogram your mind, right? It's a little bit like brainwashing, but in this case, it's not brainwashing you into something that isn't true. It is helping you identify the evidence that already exists in your environment that things can be better than they currently are. And this is a spiritual card, so this is going to be spiritual help. Now, because they're fairies, they may be a little bit mischievous, or they may be more concerned with materialism or things like that. They're not necessarily going to be super protective. That's pretty common for them not to be super protective. So the signs and synchronicities you are looking for are things that will make you independent, things that will make you successful, and things that will be tangible proof that you are an awesome human being. So you might see an opportunity to pursue something that's lucky, or that is financially rewarding, or maybe you keep seeing or you keep hearing the same song that you love when you are shuffling your music. Really simple things like that could be the signs that these spiritual beings send your way to reassure you and help reframe your mind to be more positive. So use your affirmations, your meditations, your subliminals to help reprogram your mind to break from the tendency to worry, because if you work on breaking from that, then this King of Cups will have so much less power over you going forward. So let's figure out your patterns of behavior using the Dark Mirror Oracle deck. And these are generally negative things that are hurting you. And we want to figure out what those are. That way you can address them and really make your life quite wonderful. So, universe, what does pile 3 need to know about their patterns of behavior right now? Or even, actually, I'm going to pull 2 cards here. Your pattern of behavior and the King of Cups pattern of behavior. I think that'll be especially helpful for you. So, universe, give me these 2 patterns of behavior. What are the negative patterns of behavior to be aware of? What needs to be known? So your negative pattern of behavior is hiding your true self. And I think that's because you are a little afraid of criticism or causing the King of Cups person to explode, either in rage, or maybe they're not an angry person, but they worry a lot and they just make things even worse. And you kind of catch their worry like an infection. And you may think that hiding your true self is going to help resolve that situation, but in psychology, there is this thing called enabling, and when you are enabling someone of their worst traits, it actually reinforces them. So when you are hiding your true self, you are probably hiding your helpful advice, your criticism, the pushback against this person's behavior. Now, you probably can't reveal your true self overnight. Either you would feel uncomfortable doing that, or it's just not something you can ease into when it comes to this relationship right away. But you need to know that just acting in a way that lets this person get away with everything isn't helping you, and it's also not helping them. It's enabling them to continue being destructive in your life. Now, let's see what their pattern of behavior is. Triumph of lies. So if this person is someone that you hate, or who is really negative to you and you wish that you were very much separated from them, you need to know that this person is a gaslighter. This person could be a narcissist or some other abusive mental disorder or identity, and they are actually using your worry against you. They are using it to empower them, and breaking away from them will help free you, and you are going to realize that you have been living under a lot of lies that are actually quite hurtful. But again, not everyone who picked this pile, the King of Cups, is an evil person. They could just be a problematic family member. And the triumph of lies here could be the lies this person is telling themselves, the lies that are reinforcing their wrong beliefs about a situation. And so when you are enabling them, you are encouraging the gaslighting of their own identities. So the action steps for these cards for you to break away from that is to work on being yourself. If you value this person, because they will see what's true within you. If you reflect the truth to your true identity, it will be like a virus, and it will catch on to them, not immediately, but it will get better over time. And if this person is a truly negative person, I really recommend separating from them as soon as possible. If you are in a situation where that isn't immediately possible, then you just need to really identify when they are lying, when they are being very harmful to you, because you don't want to be fooled by them. You may want to act like you are worried, that you are taken by surprise by them, but within yourself, you need to be true to yourself, and then you need to know the truth. And if you're worried that you can't do this, maybe this person is, for example, a toxic boss or a toxic family member, and you don't have the resources to just change your job or change your living situation to get away from them, having a journal, perhaps a password protected journal on a device if it's a family member, or definitely not like something you take into work if it is like a boss. Like affirmations to yourself or reflections to yourself about what the truth is. So if this person tells you a lie, you would write in your journal the actual truth. And then every now and again, you review the truth in your journal. That way you can't be taken hostage by them, like emotionally hostage by them. So that is an action step that you can take to improve your life. Just remember, in the long term, you would need to break away from this really negative person. So let's go ahead and get the unresolved karma. Now, the unresolved karma is the negativity in your life that remains if you don't address all of these problems. These are the defining resonance, I guess, that if you don't solve it in this life, it could carry on to the next. It could create a soul tie. So let's see what that is. That way you can figure out what are the long-term things, like at a soul level, that you are being affected by. And it's the reason why the universe is trying to teach you this lesson of worry, so you resolve it, you resolve that karma, and you aren't harmed in the future or in future lives. So universe, what is the unresolved karma? What is the unresolved karma of this situation? What is the unresolved karma? So your unresolved karma is naked before the stars. I think you feel vulnerable to fate. I think you feel as if you don't have anything to protect yourself from karmic events and fated events. And what this could be a sign is that this King of Cups person is someone you had a soul tie to from a previous life, or just the situations in the environment around you made it almost unavoidable that you would interact with this person. Either way, you need to understand that the way that you break that soul tie, the way that you really separate yourself from them, is you need to learn how to not be bothered by them, either by helping them heal or separating yourself from them. Because while there may have been a soul tie joining you together, you can break that soul tie. I do think if this is a negative family member who you still love and you still care about, this could be a sign that this may be your last incarnation together with them. This is the last lesson you need to learn before you break apart, and that's something to keep in mind. It is possible you'd still reincarnate together, but I am definitely sensing that this life is about breaking the soul tie, whether this is a good person or a bad person, because I think you bring out the worst in each other, and that needs to be resolved. So work on that anxiety, work on breaking free from that anxiety, and you're going to feel uplifted at the soul level. You're going to feel as if your soul is not as heavy as it was. So that'll be pretty cool for you. Now let's go to the next question, which are the modern challenges that you're dealing with. And when I mean modern challenges, I mean other than the past events, what is something you are dealing with right now, or you're going to deal with really, really soon? And if you know about it after this reading, you can really address that quite quickly. So universe, what are the modern challenges for pile 3? What are the modern challenges? What modern challenges does pile 3 have to deal with? So the modern challenge you have to deal with is pride. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. Now, this pride is clearly not actually what you're dealing with. You may have your own pride issues, but the pride issue that this spread is specifically talking about is the pride that the King of Cups is feeling. Now, if this person is a good person, someone you value, this pride is causing them to create a false identity for themselves that is hurting you. And if you recognize when they are being egotistical or really living this fake lie that they're trying to subsume into their identity, you're going to be able to challenge that. But if this person is a truly bad person, that triumph of lies that we talked about before, then their pride is how they aggressively hurt other people, right? Their pride is a reinforcing perpetuation of their power. And the way that you challenge that specifically, the way that you fight back against that, is to love yourself and to see yourself in others. So there is this idea with the Holocaust, right? That, oh, it was a uniquely terrible situation. Yes, it was. But people automatically assume that, oh, if I lived in World War II Germany, I would have never been a Nazi or anything like that. But the problem is that there is a little bit of darkness within everyone. There is a little bit of bad behavior in everyone. And I think that this bad person is using that to their advantage. They are able to see the darkness within you, and they're able to use that to build their lies. So if you do some shadow work, you can look it up online, but shadow work that really causes you to reflect on your worst behaviors. For example, me, I'm pretty aggressive and confrontational. If you figure out what is your shadow side, you are going to be able to figure out what this bad person is using to take advantage of you, because they're going to use that shadow side to empower their lies, their pride. They are going to use it to attack you. In some situations, they may be able to identify your shadow side and then tell other people around you, especially if you're in a work situation. This is a really good example. They're going to be able to see, hey, look at this person. They are really, really aggressive. Look how awful they are, and all those things. So know what your shadow side is, because you are going to know what this person is using to attack you. And then you can love yourself and reintegrate that into who you are. For example, I've never really been attacked for my aggressive confrontational behavior. It's just never really happened. And the reason why is because I have integrated that really Martian energy to be really useful for motivation. I don't bring it out very often, but it is there. And if you are in control of your shadow side, then this person isn't in control of your shadow side. You can channel your shadow side into something positive and something in your control. Someone whose shadow side is something like shyness could use their shyness to really hold back and observe the situation and only act when it's absolutely required or when they're absolutely needed. So understand your shadow side isn't really a bad thing. You can turn almost anything into a positive, and that's what I want you to do. I want you to look up shadow sides. I think I'm going to put a link in the description and comments, so that way you can look it up, like something you can use. But work on your shadow side, probably through a meditation or some sort of journaling, and you are going to be able to have a secret weapon to use against this person, because they just won't have any power over you anymore. So let's go ahead and see how you can use sources of inspiration to empower your life. So this source of inspiration is really something that can improve your life, improve your circumstances, what the fairies are using to send signs and synchronicities to help you. So let's figure out what that is. Universe, what are the signs and synchronicities, the source of inspiration that the fairies are using to empower pile 3? What is this source of inspiration? What is this source? So your source of inspiration is go outside. It's time to go outside. Tune into the powerful piece of nature wherever you are, and feel at one with your habitat. Yes, this means literally going outside, but I am actually getting mostly in your spread that this is about physically separating yourself from this King of Cups. So if this is someone who is in your immediate environment, like your home, your neighborhood, or your workplace, being in a situation to where they aren't physically present will reassure you. So, can you move to another home? Can you move to another neighborhood? Can you transfer to a different job or apply to a different job altogether? If you do that, that will be your secret power. I do think the fairies are going to send opportunities your way. They're going to perhaps post an employment opportunity on a job board, and it would just be excellent for you. Or maybe there'll be someone in your social network who has a great idea for a job that you can apply for. It could be some sort of advertisement about the perfect like rental or home that you could buy, something like that. Really pay attention to your opportunities to physically distance yourself from this person. Now, this is obviously true for really, really bad people, but again, what about those of you who actually do quite care for this King of Cups person? A really good example of distance from conflict would be politics. In America, you until recently you didn't talk about religion, politics, or I think money, like how much you were earning with your family members or your friends because it caused conflict. And that is an example of something you can do. What causes you to be worried around this King of Cups person? What causes conflict? How can you separate yourself from that? Um, could it be you don't hang out with them every day? Could it be that you uh, move, physically move? But there's definitely going to be a physical separation. It's not just going to be an emotional separation, because if this is a positive person, you're probably going to be quite integrated into their lives. And really, in this situation, going outside, separating yourself from this person, if they are positive, is actually going to heal your relationship. You're going to be able to focus on what makes the relationship strong instead of all of the little things that cause problems. So understand that going outside, physically separating yourself from them, could actually be what saves the relationship rather than hurting the relationship. I know, for example, some people live hundreds to thousands of miles from their family members, so they don't see them every day. But when they do see them, it is a wonderful opportunity to reconnect, or maybe they talk on the phone for a few minutes a day just to catch up. But basically, the physical distance means that the time spent together is always quality time, it is always significant time, and it resolves a lot of disputes. So understand physical separation for those of you who care about this person, absolutely the thing that will save your relationship. Now, the last thing we are going to do today is see the current outcome. If you change nothing, if what would happen if you completely ignored this reading altogether? What are you currently leaning towards? What is the most likely outcome? What is probably going to happen with this lesson from the past? How are you currently processing it? So, universe, what does pile 3 need to know about this lesson from their past? What is happening in the near future? What is happening in the near future? So the first card is the Six of Rods, reverse. This is a sign that there may be a little bit of disappointment, there may be a little bit of de-emphasis, but that's actually a good thing, right? This is a sign that this relationship isn't going to take as prominent a role in your life, but that's a good thing because you need that distance from them. The next card is the Hierophant reversed. This is a sign that there's going to be a little bit of disorder, perhaps tearing down who's in control, which again is a good sign. We want this King of Cups person to have less power over your life. And then the final card today is the Eight of Pentacles. This is about working towards your future, putting a lot of honest effort in. This is about being skilled yourself. And I am really seeing that even if you didn't get this reading today, even if you didn't get all of this context and warnings, you are already on track to address your worries. You are already on track to distance yourself from this person. So my takeaway for this reading today is to ask yourself, what is the next step you can take to physically separate yourself from this person, and how can you really accept who you are on the inside and reflect that into the outer world? Because I think you are ready to do all those things. I think you are ready to break that soul tie and really take back your life. I am actually really encouraged. I know this reading seems like there were a lot of negative cards, but actually you've got this. You are doing all the things you need to do to get out of this difficult situation, and I have 100% confidence that your future is going to be super, super bright. So, Pile 3, if you resonated with this reading, be sure to like and subscribe for more. Be sure to let me know in the comments who you think this person might be, and if you need any encouragement sent your way, I would love to send you a personal blessing in a comment. Otherwise, you can check the comments and description of this video for links to my social, to my Ko-Fi to tip if you really like the reading, or a link to book a private tarot reading as well. Otherwise, Pile 3, I wish you so many blessings, and I can't wait to see you again.